What's your favourite food? What do you love to eat? What don't you like to eat? What's your favourite time of the day to eat? When does it suit you to put food into your body? What's your favourite place to eat? Is it a restaurant? Is it a cafe? Is it your own home? Is it on the couch? Is it at the dinner table? How do you feel when you eat food? Are you excited about the food that you eat? Does it add massive value to your life? Is it a pleasurable experience? Or do you feel guilty when you eat? Do you feel angry when you eat? Do you eat emotionally? So that's a great question. Why do you eat food? Do you eat because you're hungry, which seems like the logical answer? But have you ever eaten because you're angry or stressed or upset, or it's an occasion? Some people eat more food because they're at a wedding or they're at a social event, or there's a big family dinner, so they just eat more than they normally would because there's yummy food there. The reason I'm asking the questions is there's a lot of information about food, nutrition, what you should eat, what you shouldn't eat, what time you should eat, how much you should eat. And as an exercise professional all of my life, I'm in my kitchen where I love, this is one of my favourite places to eat because all of my favourite foods are here. And today I've got my favourite food, which is cake. Now, there's a lot of foods that I love, but I really love a great piece of cake. Now, they might not be your thing, but this cake in particular has been made by one of the girls at our martial arts club. Her sister is Taylor. Taylor's Tasty Treats, I now call them, because she's made cakes for me that are magnificent. Cinnamon rolls, red velvet cake, banana cake. Today I've got butter cake. And I just get excited about eating cake because I really like it, particularly when it's homemade and it's made with passion and enthusiasm. Why am I sharing that with you? Because a lot of people don't eat cake because they think it's bad for them. A lot of people don't eat all the foods that they love because they think, I can't have them, there's too many calories, too much fat, too much sugar. Somebody's told me that it's bad for me. Well, I think that's a sad way to live. But if somebody's telling you what to eat and how you should eat and how much you should eat and what you can and can't eat, shouldn't they ask you that series of questions first? Shouldn't they, your nutritionist, your dietitian, your personal trainer, your exercise professional, your gym owner, your naturopath, whoever's telling you what to eat or whoever you believe has the right information about food, shouldn't they know a lot more about you before they tell you what to eat? So that series of questions for me as an exercise professional, as a personal results coach, have been the most important questions when it comes to food. So first of all, what do you love to eat? Because if I tell somebody you can't have the things that you love to eat, or if somebody tells you that, isn't it possible that you'll want it more? You can't have that. So now all you're thinking about is, I can't have that, so I want it more. I'll give you a very fun story for that. Well, technically a very sad story. One of my clients, when I was a full-time personal results coach, she said to me, I've been told that I can't eat bread. A naturopath or chiropractor or somebody in her life has said to her, you can't eat bread, it's bad for you. And she said to me, Rowie, what's really interesting is I never used to eat bread anyway. It wasn't a thing that I put into my life. It's not that I didn't want to, I just didn't like it. But she said, now that somebody's told me that I can't have bread, every time I see bread, every time I go past the bakery, every time I see somebody eat a sandwich, every time somebody in my life eats bread, I want to eat it now. I never even thought about it before, but now because somebody's told me that I can't have it, I want it even more. And is it possible, and I'm not a parent, so I'm just going to ask the question, is it possible that if you tell kids, you can't do that, you can't have that, stop it, they want to do it more? So the human brain seems to be designed to go against what we're told we can't do. So if somebody tells you can't have, mustn't have, don't have, shouldn't have, is it possible that you think about it even more? So the person that's giving you information about food, shouldn't they ask you, what do you love to eat? And my favourite statement after that is, whatever healthy eating plan you're on, should it include the foods that you love to eat? So that you never feel guilty for eating them and you never feel angry if you can't have them. Because surely stress, guilt and anger are not very good for your headspace. And does food have a lot to do with your physical health? Yes, but does it also have a lot to do with your mental health? And I ask that question because as a personal results coach who most of my clients for the 20 plus years that I personally trained people, I was involved in their eating habits and their exercise program. Most of that time were people who had a horrible relationship with food. Now, technically they had a horrible relationship with themselves, but they took it out with their food habits. So they either didn't eat at all or didn't want to eat, so they were anorexic. They ate a lot and then threw it up or took laxatives to poo it out or both, so they were bulimic. People who ate food and then felt so guilty and angry that they'd eaten it, they spent hours at the gym exercise bulimics, and then a lot of my clients that were morbidly obese. So food was controlling their life. They had a terrible relationship with themselves and with food, and consequently they became very, very unhealthy and very, very big people because they ate enormous amounts of food. I'm sharing that with you because I hope that you don't want that for our kids. Adults can do whatever they want, but I don't want our kids to live like that. And is it possible that if we tell our kids bad food, can't have, mustn't have, don't have, they're going to want it more? If they can't have it, they'll be angry. What does that do for your mental health? And if they do have it, they'll feel guilty. What does that do for your mental health? So what do you love to eat, and should your eating plan always include that? Surely the answer is yes. What don't you like to eat? Should that be an important question? Because I don't eat things I don't like. How about you? And if somebody tells me you should eat that because it's healthy, I don't care. I want to find something else that's got the same vitamins, minerals, phytochemicals, nutritional value that isn't that food because I don't like that food. And as an exercise coach, as a nutritionist, a dietitian, somebody that's involved in helping people with their eating plan, surely you would do that for your client. So if you really think that green vegetables are the best thing you should be eating, then and your client doesn't want to eat green vegetables, you've got to find something else that has the same nutritional value that isn't green vegetables. And just again, as a fun side note, and I always use this story, we always talk about you need to eat more green vegetables, and I'm sure you've heard that before. I had one of my students at the Max Colleges who ate 3 kilograms of broccoli or Brussels sprouts or one of those all in one sitting. So he ate a very large amount of green vegetables in one sitting. And he will tell you very happily and openly that he was very uncomfortable. He was bloated. He had very stinky farts for a very long time. And it was just a horrible experience. So you can say that a food is good or bad, but if you eat too much of anything, it's not going to make you feel good. So what do you love to eat? What don't you like to eat? There's another great question. What are you eating at the moment? There's a reason that people eat the way they're eating. And shouldn't your exercise person, your nutritionist, your dietitian, find out what you're doing at the moment, because what you're doing at the moment might be awesome, or it might just need a tiny tweak, or the way you're eating at the moment is really important to you and you don't want some person coming along and telling you you have to eat this way. Again, I've got another story for that. I don't like to get involved in the food thing. For me, if you have a healthy, fit, strong body, then your body will tell you what you need, and your hormonal system, which is the thing that controls everything in your body. Your hormones control everything. They tell you when you're hungry, they tell you to stop eating, they tell you when to drink, they tell you when you don't need to drink anymore because you're not thirsty, they tell you when to sleep. Hormones, the endocrine system to me is the most amazing part of the body. So I don't want to get involved in telling people what to eat, because I believe if you get people healthy, fit and strong, their hormonal system will be healthy, fit and strong, so consequently they will be able to eat healthy food. But I had a lady who came into my life when I was a personal results coach, and she felt that she might have some allergy challenges, that she might have something that needed a professional nutritionist dietitian. So I did the research. It was in Brisbane, Australia, and I asked a lot of sports people and I asked a lot of doctors, and I really did my research on who would be the best person for her to go and visit, the best dietitian for her to go and visit to talk about her food. To cut a very long story short, she went to that dietitian. She drove a long way across the city of Brisbane to get there. And when she got back, she didn't go home. She came to my office and she screamed at me. She was really angry with me, not with the dietitian. She was angry with me that I had sent her to that person, and I'm paraphrasing, but she pretty much said this: why did you send me to that stupid person who didn't ask me any questions about what I like to eat, what I don't like to eat? She just gave me this list of things that I have to eat, but she doesn't even know anything about me. I thought that was it was a very interesting experience, but it was also a great learning curve for me. I want the people in my life to work out for themselves what's best for them. And if they think they need to go to an expert, then they need to do the research, because I don't want to ever be in that situation again where I have somebody yelling at me, why did you send me to that stupid person who didn't ask me any questions? That's just a really interesting side note. So what do you like to eat? What don't you like to eat? What are you eating in the moment? And why do you eat that way? It could be cultural. It could be emotional. It could be a religious thing. It could be you've been brought up that way and that's how you've always eaten. It could be that you love to eat that way. It could be that you don't. But should we find out, why do you eat what you're eating at the moment? The really tough question, which is how do you feel if you eat and how do you feel if you don't eat? The logical answer is if I don't eat, I'm hungry. And if I do eat, I'm full. But that's not always the case, is it? Some people don't eat because they're hungry, they eat for other reasons, and then they feel really angry and upset and emotional about the fact that they ate food. And there's other people that feel really good if they don't eat food. They feel powerful, they feel strong, they feel really good about themselves. Shouldn't you find that out before you start delivering information about food? So what do you like to eat? What don't you like to eat? What are you eating at the moment? Why do you eat that way? Where do you like to eat? If you tell somebody you can't eat at a restaurant, you can't eat at a cafe, you can't eat with the family at night time because you shouldn't eat after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, could you get yourself into some trouble because somebody has a favourite cafe that they always go to every day? Or they sit down for dinner every night with their family because it's a social, beautiful experience. Where do you like to eat? Shouldn't that be a really important question? When do you like to eat? Shouldn't we ask that question? What times of the day are best for you? Now, I hear this almost every day in the world today, particularly if you're on social media. Breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Now there's an argument. Don't eat breakfast. Don't eat till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Don't eat till before or after 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So much preaching and teaching about when you should eat. But when do you like to eat? What a great question to ask somebody. What's your favourite time of the day to eat food? And everybody's different and everybody's got a different lifestyle. Shouldn't we find that out before we start preaching and teaching and telling? Or even better, this is my begging position, why do we preach, teach and tell? Is it possible that it would be better if people could work this out for themselves? So what do you like to eat? What don't you like to eat? What are you eating at the moment? Why do you eat that way? When do you eat? Where do you eat? How do you feel if you do eat? How do you feel if you don't eat? Very emotional questions. Then the really important question, the way you're eating at the moment, is it working for you? Are you on track or off track to achieving your goals by what you're eating at the moment? And it's a really important question because if somebody's on track, why would you screw with what they're doing? If they think what they're doing is awesome, don't screw around with that because they like the way they're eating. If they're off track and they need some help, then of course you need to ask some more questions. So if you keep doing what you're doing now, will you achieve your goals with the way you're eating at the moment? And the next 2 questions I think are the most important if you are a personal exercise coach, if you are wanting to help people with their food. Would it be really important to ask, what do you think you should do? If you were your own eating coach, your own eating and exercise coach, your high performance athletic coach, what advice would you give yourself? Rather than me giving you advice, what advice would you give yourself? And wouldn't it be nice, because most people won't tell you they should eat crappy food, do no exercise, sit on the couch and eat chips. No one says that. So most people are on track they've got a headspace that's pretty healthy. They're just not living that way. So wouldn't it be nice to say, great idea, what you've suggested for you to do to yourself is awesome. Let's find out how we can get you to do that. So that's now an action process rather than a telling somebody what to eat process. And then a very respectful question, which is, what do you want from me? So as an exercise coach, if I say to somebody, what do you want from me? How do you want me to help you? And somebody says, I need you to tell me what to eat. That's where I would say very clearly and very openly, how about we decide what you think you should eat? Because if I'm not there, you're an adult. You don't need somebody to tell you what to eat. You don't need somebody to say can't have, mustn't have, don't have, shouldn't have. Wouldn't it be nice that if we got you healthy, fit and strong, and that's my favourite question, if you have a healthy, fit, strong body and a healthy, fit, strong hormonal endocrine system and a healthy, fit, strong brain, central nervous system, a healthy, fit, strong immune system so you don't get sick, a healthy, fit, strong digestive system so your body uses everything that you need and gets rid of everything that you don't need. You have a fast metabolism, your body tells you when you're hungry and tells you when to stop eating. Is that a way you'd like to live your life? That's my favourite question. If your body's really healthy, fit and strong, is it possible that everything else will work itself out? And again, I've been doing this a very long time. I don't ever tell people what to eat. I don't ever tell people what they can't have, mustn't have, don't have, shouldn't have. I just go through that series of questions. Now, as a very interesting side note, I've worked with psychologists, psychiatrists, dietitians, nutritionists. I have a very special colleague in my life who has she's a doctorate of dietetics. And they've all said exactly the same thing to me. That series of questions, Rowie, is the most important thing you can take people through. Because if you don't have that information, what right have you got to deliver other information? You don't know enough about somebody. So If you're about to buy a diet plan or buy an exercise plan online, or you go to a dietitian or you go to a doctor or whoever it is that you believe is going to give you great information, surely they should ask you those questions about your food and of course about your exercise. But what do you like? What don't you like? What are you doing at the moment? Why are you doing that at the moment? What time of the day? Where do you like to do it? How do you feel right now? Are you getting the results that you want? Are you on track or off track? If you were your own high performance eating and exercise coach, what advice would you give yourself? And if you want my help, what exactly do you want? What's been really interesting in the past for me is a lot of people have said to me, Rowie, I don't want any help with my food. I've got a dietitian or a nutritionist or a coach or a naturopath. I just want you to get me fit and strong. And so I just stay away from the food thing. Very interestingly, and these are my last set of questions that I always use, the eating plan you're on at the moment. So if somebody says, I love what I'm doing, it's really awesome, it's working for me, I don't want any help with my food. I ask these 4 questions. You've heard me many times ask these. Do you have a stack of energy? Are you performing at your best? Do you love what you see in the mirror and love the way your body feels to touch? And are you getting the results that you want from your eating plan? Because should you be able to demand that from your eating plan, a stack of energy, high performance, you love what you see in the mirror, and you're getting the results that you want. And it just plants the seed, because if the answer is yes, you just say, congratulations, obviously what you're doing is working for you. If the answer is no, then that becomes another process, because obviously you want to help people to get healthy, fit and strong. But rather than telling people what to do, wouldn't it be really nice? Wouldn't it be respectful? Wouldn't it be responsible to find out who they are and why they're doing what they're doing now? It's one of the things I get a little bit fascinated about and sometimes frustrated when somebody goes to the doctor and the doctor says, what is it? I've got a sore tummy, I've got a sore foot, I've got an injury, I've got a headache. Okay, you've got a headache, take this pill. But they never ask, why did you get that headache? Why do you think you're unhappy? Why do you think you got the injury? Wouldn't it be nice, rather than give people a solution to a problem, let's find out what the problem is so we can prevent that problem from happening again in the future. If you want to live your life to the max, if you want the people in your life to live their life to the max, could it be a really good idea to ask more questions?